The 6 o'clock news starts right now.
If they change it, then a lot of families are going to be displaced in that area.
It has become a common theme for so many San Antonio public school districts closing schools because of low student enrollment and a lack of funding. The latest district to propose shutting down some of its campuses is Edgewood ISD.
And this comes after decisions by San Antonio ISD, Harlandale, South San Antonio to close their campuses. RJ Marquez tells us about Edgewood's proposal and what parents and students need to know before a final decision is made.
Valerie Lozano is one of many Edgewood ISD parents trying to figure out where their child will go to school next year.
It makes me angry and frustrated that they're doing this to our kids. I mean, I get that it's money, but at the end of the day, you're hurting kids.
On Tuesday, the district's Finance and Facilities Committee proposed closing Winston Intermediate School of Excellence and Wren Middle School next year. Lozano says that her youngest son, who attends Winston, would have to enroll in his 4th school in as many years.
It's kind of disappointing because my youngest son, which will be in 5th grade next year, has already been affected by the changes.
Dwindling enrollment and attendance has hit the district hard. Edgewood had nearly 12,000 students during the 2012-13 school year. That number is around 8,200 students this year.
We're standing across the street from Winston Intermediate School, and one thing that came up during that board meeting was that if this school were to shut down, there would be no Edgewood ISD elementary schools south of US 90. That means that parents, students, and of course teachers would have to make the trek up north to Perales Elementary. And as you just saw right there, that means that traveling up General McMullen or Couples Road, two very busy streets, all the way north to Highway 90.
It's going to be very dangerous, especially if they don't have transportation for these kids.
Edgewood Superintendent Dr. Eduardo Hernandez says many parents drive or walk their kids to school, but he assures there will be options.
If a student needs transportation, we're going to get them there. So we won't be allowing students to cross any busy streets or any what are called hazardous roads.
The board will make its final decision on Tuesday. Hernandez says that any decision made will be done in the best interest of the district and its students.
We're going to talk to our parents. We're going to those specific parents in those communities, and we're going to elevate all kinds of handbooks in terms of transitioning and looking at people that are going to be ready to receive the students in the schools that they're going to be coming to.
RJ Marquez, KSAT 12 News.
A new KSAT Explains breaks down how public schools get their money from both the state and local taxpayers. It is a complicated system, but we have made it easier to understand. Scan this QR code to check it out. We also explain how a lawsuit filed by Edgewood ISD parents revolutionized that school funding to create what's called recapture. You can find it all on KSAT.com and the KSAT YouTube page.
It was a vicious attack. A pair of dogs were shot and killed on the west side last night after they attacked a man. Animal Care Services received complaints about those dogs before last night, but no officers responded to those. The ACS director said that after last night's attack on South San Gabriel Avenue, he looked at the call history for the past 12 months for that neighborhood. He found 2 calls from 2 weeks ago, which he believes were about these specific dogs being free of restraint and showing threatening behavior. However, ACS, which has been unable to respond to even half the critical calls it gets, did not have officers on those calls. The director said it's hard to say if that would have helped prevent last night's attack.
What would have really been a preventative measure is if there would have been an affidavit, sworn statement, something like that to show that folks had been aggressively charged or attacked or anything like that in the previous history. That would have allowed us to seize the animals regardless of ownership.
Now, ACS got a big bump in its budget this year, in part because of the gap in its call response, and they're short-staffed. The bump helped pay for 16 new officers it added to the department yesterday, many of whom will be used to help respond to calls in the future.
Back in February, an elderly man was killed in a dog attack on the west side. After that, we talked to a dog trainer about ways that you can protect yourself if you are ever attacked by a dog. One of the most important things to remember, don't run away or turn your back to that dog.
Don't run away, don't turn around, make sure the dog stays in front of you, because the second you have eyes off of it, if they're in a distance, you got to make sure you know where they're going or if they're going to charge at you or not. Because a lot of times the second you turn around, you turn into prey.
Right now on KSAT.com, you can find an article detailing this information about what to do should you come across a dangerous dog. It will be within the story about this latest dog attack on San Gabriel.
Now to a case we've been covering all week, the capital murder trial of Jacob Brownson. Brownson accused of fatally shooting 3 men back in 2016. Today, testimony from the medical examiner revealed 2 of the men were shot at close range. Erica Hernandez was there as the autopsy report was read.
Silent sobs can be heard in the courtroom from the victims' families as photo after photo was shown of the gunshot wounds Pedro Garcia, Anthony Rodriguez, and Matthew Martinez sustained. All 3 men were found dead in their Northside apartment in September 2016. The man charged with their murders, Jacob Brownson, showed no emotion as those photos were shown.
The cause of death was multiple gunshot wounds.
Bexar County Chief Medical Examiner Dr. Kimberly Molina revealing that Garcia was shot 3 times, Martinez 4 times, and Rodriguez 5 times. According to Dr. Molina, Martinez and Rodriguez were shot at close range and possibly suffered for a while after the gunshots.
None of these wounds for any of them were necessarily immediately lethal.
Late yesterday afternoon, Brownson's ex-wife took the stand. We weren't able to capture all her testimony, but she did tell the jury Brownson assumed the men had assaulted her after he left her at their apartment, and that he told her if she told anybody what he did, he would kill her. The defense tried to discredit her testimony because she was given immunity for it, instead of also facing a capital murder charge. So what's next? The trial will actually go on recess after today because of the Veterans Day holiday tomorrow. It is expected to resume back on Monday morning, and the jury could potentially get the case by early next week. At the Kidder Reeves Justice Center, Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
It has happened. After 8 months of waiting, neighbors in Westwood Square say one of their big concerns finally being heard. Last month, we took you to Westwood Square as part of our Know My Neighborhood project. We showed you what people living in this West Side community say is the good, the bad, and the frustrating.
One of those issues is speeding on a major street there. Our Daniela Ibarra shows us what San Antonio police are doing to try to solve that problem.
Castroville Road is known for speeding, and just this week, San Antonio police installed this speed trailer. Look, that car's going 42, and this is meant to remind them they need to slow down.
It's like somebody gave us a Christmas gift before Christmas.
On this busy road, Jesusita Rios says these speed trailers are a welcome sight.
Seems like something so small, but for you guys, it's huge.
It is. It is. It's huge because we've gone through so many channels to try to get this, and we finally did.
She says the neighborhood has asked San Antonio police for this trailer for nearly 8 months.
They're not necessarily trapping people. It's more for the public to see that we're trying, and hearing their concerns and voices.
We need to protect every life. And one of those ways is to have a safe neighborhood that includes our streets.
And Castroville Road can get dangerous. The speed limit is 35, but people often go way over. Earlier this year, a dump truck crashed into the pedestrian bridge nearby. The ramps to nowhere have made it hard for people to get around.
There have been near misses. There's accidents, that happen all the time.
Rios hopes this trailer is a step towards a solution. She says it's one of the many forgotten issues we highlighted in our Know My Neighborhood project that's finally being remembered.
I really think KSAT 12, because they did a fantastic job in doing that. We wouldn't have gotten the small steps that we've gotten so far if it weren't because of that.
And Rios told me she has noticed a difference out here. This trailer, it was installed on Tuesday, and she says she's actually sat in this parking lot and watched cars, and she's noticed them slow down as they approach this trailer. Steve and Myra.
Daniela, I like this story because this shows that this project is not just a one and done. We're going to keep our eyes on some of the issues in these neighborhoods that we feature in Know My Neighborhood. Police say they aren't sure how long that trailer is going to be there. What happens after police remove it? Are there other plans to try to slow down the traffic there?
So Steve, that's still something we're trying to figure out. So we asked San Antonio police what they do with the data, because that's one of the questions that Jesusita wanted us to ask for her. And she said that, this is something that she wants to see a solution to, not just a Band-Aid like this. And so SAPD, they say that a safe officer actually keeps the data, but as for what's done with the data, they say that's up to the city or whoever asks for it.
Okay, Daniela, so Jesusita says that she has seen people slow down with this trailer there, but what about others in the neighborhood? Are they thinking that this is so far effective?
Yeah, Velma Pena, who's actually on the Westwood Square Neighborhood Association, she's the president. She says she's seen a difference too. We did ask people on Instagram, though, if you head over to KSAT News' Instagram, if they think this is effective, because this is something that is in different neighborhoods in San Antonio. And online, people are saying 80% that no, this isn't working, and 20% say yes.
You know, Danielle, I'm going to confess I've been watching the speed limit behind you, and I haven't seen anybody speeding yet. So that's a good sign.
Yeah, that is good.
That's a good sign. Danielle Ibarra, thank you.
Yeah.
A good sign, especially on the wet roads that we have out there right now, Adam.
Have you ever found one of those and sprinted up toward its
but
That's how fast you could go? I'm guessing you have.
I was going to say, I think
if anybody has, it's you,
answer
Kasky.
for you.
That was a perfect opportunity. There's a sidewalk there and everything, and it's just, those are Doppler radars is what those are. You know, radar guns, they're Doppler radars. They detect the speed to and away from the actual radar gun that's built into there, and so if you're right on it, you get that sprint going, you can see how fast you can run. In a safe place. Don't do it on the roads and whatnot. It's just kind of fun. You can get up over 10 miles per hour, maybe hit 15. Okay, a little slick out there right now with our areas of light rain. It's moving from the southwest to the northeast. This is very light in nature, but it's enough to get in the way of some travel. Wet roadways out there, a few slick spots, of course. It's not going to add up to a whole lot, but it's better than nothing, and at least it's the soaking rain that's nice and gradual and doesn't just run off immediately. A little bit more enhanced farther to the west as you get into Medina County, approaching Hondo, and then soon thereafter Medina Lake, that area of yellow, one of the more moderate showers that we have, but generally it's pretty light. It'll be scattered in nature through the night and even into the morning commute tomorrow. I think if we're lucky, we could see an additional 1/4 inch in some neighborhoods, but another opportunity for rain and what temperatures are doing behind this cold front in just a bit.
All right, we'll see you then. Thanks, Adam. Let's take a look at another spot on the roads out here right now. 410 at Cherry Ridge. You can see traffic very slow going, which may not be too bad of a thing given the slick roads out there, at least in the direction headed towards the camera, but plenty of brake lights in the other direction as well. People hopefully taking their time in all this drizzle out there.
You're still ahead on the news at 6. San Antonio College being recognized for the way it supports members of the military community. How the services offered by the college helped a local veteran. That story next.
It also seemed that you had a pretty significant issue with some roaches and flies.
Tonight on the Night Beat, Tim Gerber stops by a West Side restaurant that was temporarily shut down due to a pest infestation. What the owner had to say about the conditions behind his kitchen door on the Night Beat at 10.
From active duty to veteran to student, San Antonio College today honored its students who served our country. The Texas Veterans Commission awarded the college with the 2023 Veteran Education Excellence Recognition Gold Award. The college's Victory Center offers things like financial aid, counseling, and training for military veterans. One woman we spoke with says that she is thankful for the help that SAC gave her after getting out of the military.
When I came to school, it was hard because I'm older. I'm 41, and coming back to school after a long time of not coming to school, it was intimidating, giving me the confidence to tell other veterans, hey, if I did it, you can do it.
About 3,000 veterans and active duty military members attend San Antonio College each semester.
Idea Public Schools changing the way their students are able to get food. Maybe we should say they're enhancing it. They're doing it by growing and harvesting fruits and vegetables at 12 of their locations. Students get to grow, plant, harvest a variety of produce. Then all the food grown goes back into the school and back to the students.
It's amazing. It's like I'm able to be outside instead of indoors.
We're growing food for the cafeteria. It kind of helps ensure that we have the healthiest meals and also subsidizes their costs.
Teachers at Idea Public Schools say the farming program helps students not only prepare for the future, but also gain respect for where their food comes from.
You know, it can really help with that effort. Some good rain.
Yeah.
Yes. Adam Caskey.
I knew where you were going there. And this is good. It's nice to see some activity on the radar. It's just very, very light in nature, and it's not adding up to a whole lot. The back edge of it is still near the Rio Grande and in parts of Mexico. You see how these showers really become less numerous closer to the Rio Grande here, and that activity will continue to move eastward. I think through the night we'll see the rain showers be not so widespread, whereas right now some decent coverage in and around Bexar County and San Antonio. I want to talk about accumulations. We'll start with the radar site off to the west closer to Del Rio, and we'll just look at the last 12 hours. And notice it's this bright blue color, which is very light in nature. We're talking generally under 1/4 inch of rain. Now we'll switch radar sites, come in and around San Antonio. And here we have a few pockets of enhanced accumulations, but that's just very isolated near Government Canyon State Natural Area. And check this out. Right there's one of our sweet spots at 1 inch, but the rest of us significantly less than that, under 1/3 inch for the most part is what we're seeing. That's that bright blue color. But we're going to add to it. If you're really, really lucky, you could squeeze out up to 1 inch by tomorrow midday, but I think that's the far exception rather than the norm. This is just very light in nature, but a few of those enhanced showers are embedded within this just north of Hondo. This is headed toward Medina Lake Reservoir, so there are some pockets of more moderate to heavy rain. It's just very isolated in nature. Either way, we'll take it. It's what we like to see. Here's our future cast as we go through the night. Still some showers, generally light, coming and going, not as widespread, not as numerous through the night, but even into the morning commute tomorrow, we expect some areas of rain left over and just overall dampness and damp roadways as well. Notice the rain chances here, 30% throughout the day tomorrow, 20% Saturday. Late Sunday, we're up to 40% and then 60% on Monday. That's really our next big opportunity for good, promising opportunity for more rain. So let's talk about the pattern. Look at good coverage across the state, by the way, and coming up at 6:45, I'll show you the latest drought monitor updated today, put the radar on top of it, and then accumulations. But right now I want to focus on our next good opportunity. This upper disturbance over Phoenix, that's helping to drive our good energy and moisture that's moving overhead. That's going to be dissipating as it moves eastward, but it's going to be replaced by a similar upper level system moving into northern Mexico by this weekend, setting us up for some good energy late Sunday and, as I mentioned earlier, into Monday. Here's a look at the future cast, and throughout the day Sunday, better odds closer to the Gulf coastline, but once we get into Sunday afternoon and evening, those rain chances increase in and around San Antonio and Bexar County, surrounding areas as well. And then I think really our best shot is off and on throughout the day on Monday, and even a few showers could linger into Tuesday. And I think there's going to be more moisture available with this next system. In turn, slightly better rainfall potential. This is preliminary, but we could see just upwards of 1 inch of rain in some neighborhoods from that. All right, let's talk temperatures really quickly. Today, well, we did make it into the 70s, 75 for the high. Then the cold front hit, only 0.03 of an inch of rain so far at the airport. 61 Boerne, but 72 in Pleasanton. That cooler air from the north is taking its time to work its way south. But Fredericksburg already at 59. Tomorrow, most of the day spent in the 50s. 54 at 7 a.m. and then briefly 60 at 4 p.m. Cloudy. North wind at 10 to 20, but most of the day in the 50s. And this weekend is going to be fairly similar. We're not going to get back into the 70s until the middle part of next week. So we have some time yet.
Yeah, I don't mind it. Thanks, Adam.
All right, so you've got the Horns and the Frogs this weekend. Is the Horns quarterback going to be playing?
Yes, we just found out today that Quinn Ewers is going to return. He suffered a shoulder injury 3 weeks ago this coming Saturday, so he is back for UT. And we have team tennis coming to San Antonio this weekend, and it features some world champs out at the Freeman coming up.
I'd say the biggest thing to note now, Quinn's going to start Saturday night.
Yeah, QB1 Quinn Ewers is back for the Texas Longhorns in Big Board Sports. Before facing the Knicks last night, Spurs head coach Greg Popovich told the media Madison Square Garden is the best place to play in the world. MSG, which is nicknamed the world's most famous arena, wasn't too kind to the Spurs last night, but still Pop enjoyed his trip there.
Maybe it's just a history, and I've seen a lot in my years, and as far back as I can remember, and even being a kid, I got to see Dick Barnett tonight, and Walt sitting across the deal, and I got to talk with Dick a little bit, and you just think of that history, and then you think of that court. The fans are great, the way the thing is set up. It's iconic.
Spurs will next host the Minnesota Timberwolves tomorrow night at 7 at the Frostbank Center, an NBA in-season tournament group play contest. Back on Saturday, October 21st, Texas Longhorns quarterback Quinn Ewers suffered a sprained shoulder when he was sacked on this play at the Houston Cougars. That caused him to miss the next 2 games, but following a good week of practice this week, head coach Steve Sarkisian today said that Ewers will start Saturday at TCU. A coach was asked what did Quinn show him that gave him the confidence to say he's good to go.
I thought his approach to the injury was very professional. He did the work needed from a rehab standpoint. He stayed very engaged with the team and with us offensively. He was wearing the headset in game on the sideline, hearing the play calls, hearing the adjustments. And so that when he really came back to practice this week, when he really practicing, it didn't feel like there was a lot of rust, not only physically, but mentally. And I thought he got stronger as the week went on of really throwing the ball. And he went out the last 2 days, and I didn't feel like there was a throw he couldn't make.
Sark and his 7th-ranked Horns will play at TCU Saturday night, 6:30 live right here on KSAT 12. 7-time Grand Slam singles champion Venus Williams and 4-time major champion Kim Clijsters are just a couple of internationally renowned tennis players set to take the court at Freeman Coliseum. The San Antonio International Team Tennis Championships begin tomorrow and go through Sunday between 2 teams, the San Antonio Smash versus the Austin Capitals.
You don't get as good as Venus Williams gets unless you're extremely competitive. This is going to be an extremely competitive weekend where every point, every game, every set's going to count.
The fact that, I'm playing Venus Williams, Azarenka, these are all women that I played against throughout my career for many years. To be able to do it now, since I'm retired, is a lot of fun. But then also to play against junior players, to train with them, to see them, to interact with them, to talk to them on the sideline.
The proceeds from the tennis event will benefit children throughout Texas and beyond.
The doubles team of Myra Arthur and Mitch Penner out there.
I knew you were going to go there.
They have that.
I knew it. Yeah, we got our own tennis team.
Yeah, I know.
Of high school mixed doubles fame.
Yes, obviously overlooked in all this.
Maybe next year.
The doctor is in. We're going to take your questions coming up next.